ladies and gentlemen, it's your Aqua Omega Alpha Jim Savage in the building for the Crown Talk. Let's introduce the round table. We got E in the building.
What's going on, What's up, party people? It's on the boogie.
AG is in the building.
What's good? What's good?
AG.
We got 7 in the building.
What's good with you? What's good with you?
My man, Church. What's really good with it?
You already know we out here, man, doing what we do, baby.
Yeah.
So what's going on? How's your week going, fellas?
Amazing.
You can hear him?
Man.
Not too good for nobody?
It's good.
Amazing.
It's good on my end, you know. I'm loving it every minute, every day. In the gym, in the yard.
My week is beautiful, man. Like, at the end of the day, man, I just started another new contract, baby. I'm ready, willing, and able to get this money, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
We got a new coming to the table. Army, what's good with you? Your camera, yes, camera messing up already. Struggle streaming. We'll wait till you get back on. All right. So everybody's weekend was good. Everybody did, doing their thing, whatever like that, right?
Yes, sir. How was your week, man?
Business. Huh? My week?
Yeah,
that's my week. Oh, it's what it is. Yeah, this is what I do. This is my new job right now.
All right.
We got a newcomer on the building. It's Rashad at the round table.
Peace, brother. What's happening?
What's going on?
What's happening?
You already know.
All
Make
right,
it do what it do.
The daily struggle, but I'm in here. I'm already set,
That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, that's part of life, brother.
We gotta take what we get.
Facts.
but thanks for having me though.
No problem, man. Anytime, All right. So tonight, matter of fact, what y'all guys think about last week's talk?
So I missed last week. I'm gonna need a recap.
Oh yeah, AG was it? Let me go to Church. What do you think about last week's talk, Church?
I honestly believe we covered a lot of ground. I believe it was a lot said. It was a lot done. So hey, it was amazing.
I loved it. It was great. What about you, 7?
Man, a lot of feedback, but it was good. Just feedback is.
What kind of feedback you get from it?
Man, people was in their feelings, not in a bad way, but they were just like, I think the more output was what's taking us so long. I think that was a big, the big feedback.
Okay.
Some people felt like we was going at each other. I'm like, nah, this was a good discourse. This how it's supposed to be. So yeah, right. I invited all them people today.
Okay, cool. What about you, E? What you think?
Man, anytime we get together and just hear one another's just thoughts on life events, life happenings, I think that's a beautiful thing because God created us differently, and it's just good to hear others' point of view. You may not agree with every point of view, but you can get to know the others, what somebody else is thinking about the same topic that you face in life from day to day.
I hear that. So without further ado, we have another banger for y'all. I love these questions that get your mind just like going. And this one was a question from last week's show from Jason Collins. He was up on here. He had a great show too. The question is, what does being a man look like? I'm gonna give y'all time. Put that because it's a very interesting and it's a really
broad
interesting
topic.
question. Yeah. Very broad. Very, very broad. Whoever, I'm not going to. Whoever wants to jump in.
Well, I'll jump in. Hey, I'm gonna tell you the truth. When I see a man, I see my picture.
Nice.
Well, I guess that was me. How does that hold? How do you define you? Because if that be the case, any man can show up or any boy can show up and say they a man.
I like that, but I like what you asked. How does it define me? I'm gonna tell you how it defined me. It goes back to it taking care of business. And God, when He took care of business, He formed man from dust. He created man, but He didn't become a man until He breathed the breath of life into his nostril. And then that's how man became. And then He told man to take care of the land. So for me, taking care of my responsibilities, taking care of what I have in my circle and those things that are around me. What are the things that God wants me to carry out? Taking care of my family, working, supplying the needs, just taking care of, any children that I have, just pretty much providing, and the confidence that I have in my skin and knowing that I can be able to, navigate through this life, depend on God, and I can accomplish anything. That's the type of man that I think I am, and what has made me believe that, not made me believe, because I know I'm a man, because God breathe breath in my body every day. And as I get into His word and do the things that He tells me to do, then I'm on the right track. And I'm taking care of what's mine.
So basically, part of you becoming a man, one of your main priorities is to focus on God's word, because it gives you the ability to be the man that you really want to be, as far as being a better example for the people.
Right. And someone who's not perfect, but striving for perfection.
That's what I'm talking about. That's good. That's good.
And that's just my philosophy on what I think of man. I'm gonna turn it back to you, brother. Church, how do you define yourself as a man?
But one thing about it, when it comes to me being a man, there are so many different things that I do that pertain to being a man that actually allows me to know that I am a man. One of my main priorities is waking up in the morning and thanking God for giving me the breath of life. You know what I'm saying? And giving me the ability to have a prosperous and successful day. That's my main priority as I get up every morning. Not only that, life is all about priority, balance, and order. And if you don't have balance and you don't put your priorities in place, you can't go to the next level, or you can't call yourself a man, because for number one, if your priorities ain't in order, how can you help somebody else get their life together? Or how can you help someone else live? So it's so many different things that I could say that pertains to me being a man. Not only that, just setting forth schedule, doing schedules and structuring my life and structuring the people that are around me, running my business in a proper form, as well as running my home and making sure my family's taken care of, paying the bills, not only paying the bills, keeping the needs of our vehicles functioning and flowing so we can go throughout our day. It's a lot of different things. I can go on and on about what makes me feel like, or what makes me know I'm a man.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, do you think what other people think about you define you as a man?
Nah, because what other people think doesn't necessarily have to be who you are.
Okay.
The Bible says, now this is what Scripture says. Scripture says, as a man thinks, so is he. So I believe becoming a man is the way you think, the way you act, the way you feel about you. Not only that, in the book of Corinthians, it said, when I was a child, I did as a child, I acted as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
There you go. Come on.
All right. AG, what you say?
I would say when I think of a man, I look to my own dad, right? And not that he was perfect, but I just look at how people approach him and how people look at him when he speaks and when he says things. My dad can make you laugh, he can make you smile, but he's always there. He's stoic. He take care of his responsibility. None of us ever wanted for anything. None of my kids ever want for anything. That's just a symbol I follow. My dad's never not been earning money, no matter what the task was that he was performing. He's always been an earner, always been a provider, and always there with a good ear, or I mean, a good story and a good ear. I think the greatest story he ever told me was because, you know, I'm a millennial, right? So I grew up more emotional, I guess, than probably the generation before me. My dad always told me, you never let your opinion override your responsibility.
Right.
And so when I hear him speak like that, and I've copied a lot of, I brought a lot of his teachings into my own business, you know, sense of being a father, is just, you know, seeing somebody who actually says what they mean and mean what they say, you know, just being a provider, being a leader, and not necessarily being forceful about it, but having a way about it where people respect it. My dad is an absolute class clown, but when you see him in public, people don't look at him that way. They acknowledge him as, you know, a guy. Like they look up, you know, look up to him. People, other grown men come to him for advice. And to me, that's, so I grew up looking at that. That was my example. Like, yeah, it's not something you can pinpoint. You just know it when you see it, right? Guy walks into a room, they just have three people could walk into a room almost dressed exactly alike, but one of them has a presence. And you know it when you see it. Unfortunately, it's not as prevalent as it should be. There's really not. There's a lot of other entities trying to present themselves in that light. But when it comes to the front, you know a man when you see one, and you can just tell by their responsibilities. I consider myself a man. My kids don't always love me, but they're always taken care of. You know what I mean? I'm not going to always be your friend, but I'm going to take care of you. And if you can't tell anyone else the truth, you can't tell anyone else anything, you can come to me. And that's something I learned growing up. I just think it's something that's hard to come by these days, but people who say what they mean and mean what they say, and people who honor their word when they do that, I think that's huge when you identify what a man is, because it does not a lot, you know. People will quickly say, I had to do what's best for me in the face of honoring their word. And that's rare today.
I like how you put that, AG, using your dad as a model for a man. So that's a good way of looking at it, because a lot of basketball players, they mimic Michael Jordan and LeBron James, all of them, on what it takes to become a great NBA player, because they already made it. So I like how you use your dad as a way to define what a man looks like.
A lot more people should use their father as credit too, if they're, you know, if they could. But what about you, Seven?
I like what we're hearing, man. I think that we live in a time where people are vague about what a man is, and I like the descriptions that we've heard so far. When I look at a man, I look at, you know, my dad is my hero. Don't get me wrong. Wasn't raised by my dad. We didn't become father son until late into my adult years, but I had three men. One was a white dude, Dave Stahl's former NFL player. One was a Jewish dude, Steve Zappel, attorney. And then Arthur McFarlane, which is the great-great-grandfather of W.B. Du Bois. But these three men, you know, without them, I wouldn't be here right now. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when I look at a man, I can literally point easily what a man is, and not be vague. So I think a man is a man who just shows up for the man, ready to serve, protect, aware of who he is, aware of his responsibilities, his community, and it doesn't sit in the background and watch things happen, but a proactive making things happen for what's right.
Heard that. You said yours already, right, Church? Rashad, what you got to say, Rashad?
About what does a man being a man mean to me?
Look like, yeah. What does it look like to you?
Looks like, well, first and foremost, you know, I've been with the same woman for 11 years, and we're getting married in September.
Congratulations.
Well, did she stop you in your track?
Yeah.
Man, come on, man.
Put a spell on him.
Good?
He's trying to talk something going on with his live.
Your Wi-Fi went in and out.
Hey, look, but I would like to say this, you know, because I heard a couple of y'all guys, you know, y'all talking about fathers and the men that were in your life and different things like that. I can say this: my great grandfather, he was an awesome guy. He was an amazing man. He actually helped me become the entrepreneur that I am.
I'm back.
But as well, with me starting the street life at such a young life, I had so many different people. It was a point in my life where God told me to use all the men around me to help me become a man. And sometimes you can learn a lot from a dummy. Some people might not think that, but a dummy can teach you how not to be dumb.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes I think we negate or we don't look at it from that perspective, because you can learn something from anybody. You can even learn from a bum how not to be a bum. You know what I'm saying? But you have to pay very close attention to everything going on around you. Sometimes it's the small things that make you great. You just got to tap in. It's not even about, sometimes people think being a man is all about having a lot of money. It's not about having a lot of money. It's about what you do with the little money that you have that makes you a great man. You know what I'm saying? It's about sacrificing. It's about holding on to what you got for a rainy day. Not only that, knowing how to invest and when to invest. There are so many different things, when you look at defining a man, it's so many things. Like, I believe that part of being a man is knowing how to check your oil, knowing how to look at your wife's tire pressure in her car, acknowledging it's so many different things. I believe that every man should know a little something about a car. You know what I'm saying? Not just be able to drive a car, but you should know something about a car. Not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily know how to change the windshield wipers, but you got to have an idea and understand and know that the windshield wipers going out and they going bad and it's time to go to the auto parts store. Not just because they're not wiping properly, but you got to have a general idea. Like, I believe that as men, you teach little boys how to check oil in the car at a very young age. You teach little boys how to cook on the grill at a young age. So, see, it's like this. Even when you look at women, and I'm going to let y'all talk, even when you look at women, mothers don't let daughters hands-on when they're very small. Sometimes it's just about you being around and you receive the gift. You know what I'm saying? Like, being around productive men will give you the gift because you're getting insight, you're getting intel. Not only that, you there so you get the experience based on the fact that you were there.
Heard that.
I'm gonna push back a little bit.
Hold on one second. Let me give it a shot in real quick.
No, go. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm going in and out. My reception is bad. I'm way upstairs in my house in the bedroom, so maybe that's the reason. But I was just gonna say, what a man looks like to me is, and I don't think we stress this enough, but and especially in the black community, is we struggle. A lot of black men struggle with infidelity. And for me, that is a big piece of what a man looks like, because if you can't be true to your woman, you can't be true to nobody, not even yourself. And that is just, and like the brother just said, there's many aspects of what being a man looks like, but for me, that's the top key, because that's it's gonna measure really what type of man you are, not only to yourself, not only to your woman, but to the world and to society. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can't run around and that's little boys play. You know what I'm saying? You still, if you can't honor that, you can't honor the world. And
but can I speak on that? See, the thing is, everybody haven't been taught to be a man and deal with the infidelity perspective like that. So that's something that has to be taught. That's something that has to be, you have to be groomed into that, because you got to understand, a lot of productive men in society have been raised and taught, hit what you can, pop this, hit that, move over here. You ain't a man till you get this booty. You ain't a man till you talk to that lady over there and this and that. And guess what? So some people perspective is going to be different when it comes to grooming yourself as far as a relationship. So you have to be careful about that too, because you will lose a few productive men in society that have several other women because they weren't taught and groomed like that. Now, as far as you being the example,
Yes,
that's a perfect thing. That's a great thing. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
And I'm talking that from experience, because the neighborhoods that I was raised in and what was going on around me, everybody was doing all they can with all the women they could.
Wow.
And guess what? That didn't
But
make you a man, but we were taught you were a man when you did those things.
Yeah. I agree. It is about. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
I agree with that as well, because I was taught that, more or less. I was shown that, so that's really all I know. You know what I'm saying? Just like for instance, you just saying like that's what you were shown. So that's what, I don't know if that's what you do, but I'm just saying, being shown good and evil, you're gonna follow what you see the most.
Go ahead. What you had to speak?
I understand where church is coming from, as far as from what environment that you grew up in. Sometimes you get attached to those things, but it's also our responsibility to know what's right and what's wrong. Just like God's word, we don't read it for ourselves, then we won't have a good understanding. So as he hit on, a lot of people are the way they are in this world because they don't know what rights looks like sometimes. But as you stated before, when you see someone that is out on the street that is, like you mentioned, a bum or somebody who's overweight or whatever case may be, you look at those and say, you know what? I don't want to be that way, because people told me, hey man, go get that girl right there. My brother them, they still tease me today. And they tease me because they said, man, that girl like you, man. Go get her, man. But I was like, no, I have a girlfriend. They were like, man, forget that. Go get that girl. I said, no, I have a girlfriend, because I was taught that, why cheat on someone who you're committed to? And I believe when you're committed to something, and there's a lot of different tools that you can have in your tool bag, and that defines you as a man. Now, as a man doesn't mean that you are great. You can be a negative man, or you can be a positive man, but you define who you are based on who you're around.
Okay, can I say something on that? Because this is the thing. You can be a great man and you can live this great life, and you can have this thing where you don't do the infidelity thing and you don't make the mistakes, right? Because guess what? I was that guy. Guess what? Sometimes you can try to hold your ground and you can try to do all the responsible things and you can try to do everything right. And guess what? When people aren't treating you right, when you're going through different things, you have feelings and emotions. Guess what? You might make the right choice for a while, but guess what? People will sometimes break you if you don't have the right mate, if you don't have the right situation and the right stuff going on. It can start out right. It can feel good. You can see the little mistakes, the little manipulation moves. And sometimes because you want to be this great person and you want to make the right choices and you want to make your marriage work and you want to make your relationship work, the whole time, if you're not careful, you will be constantly getting bitter. So guess what? You will be a bitter man, caught up, and then guess what? Now you in a position that you don't supposed to be because you let all the things going on around you. So you got to be careful with this really being a man.
Be careful.
But
Because sometimes you can be a man and be broken at the same time.
That's true.
Right.
Because
Right,
of the
exactly.
stuff that's going on around you, because you paying all the bills, because you going to work every day. Because guess what? Do you know one of the biggest problems in the world? You can look at the statistics, baby. One of the biggest problems with men in the world is they feel underappreciated, bro. That's why men fail at being real men. That's why men fail at being good men, because they feel underappreciated.
I'm gonna go a little bit on you on that with church.
That's true too. That's a good message.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with Shim. One of the things I've been looking at and researching just because of my organization, the problem is we put this label on what a man is. I don't want to learn how to change oil. I'm not going to change oil. But if you need your house wired for Wi-Fi, if you need your business plan reviewed or revision, if you need your articles of paper, you need your documents done, you need your ducks in a row, you need to network and be a gatekeeper to a situation, that's my position.
That's why I was saying it was broad.
But I'm gonna get to you. But one of the things that made me feel like I wasn't a man, I was raised by my mom. So by the age of 12, I can cook, clean, spring clean, do my laundry. I knew how to grocery shop. So growing up, me and my brothers, we kept it a secret, 4 boys and a mom, but it felt weird to us. It felt weird to me. I'm gonna be honest with you, like other people got a dad, got a father, we didn't. But one of the things I learned when I was working at this company, I'm not gonna give them props, but I think this company, I was able to be around a lot of men, young men and older. And the one thing that I loved about this relationship, that narrative was challenged because they were from different cultures, they were from different backgrounds, different cities, etc. But the one thing we had in common that I learned that was more important, we knew how to talk to each other. So the thing that you were talking about right now, that taboo of holding it all in together, you were able to talk to other men. And for me, that was new, weird science fiction. I was like, something going on right here. But when I can sit down with another man and he's telling me, yo, I'm not having fidelity issues, but I'm having love my woman issues, I'm sitting there listening to him like, damn, I had that problem too, you know, and learning to listen. And then listening to more men, I learned that one of the biggest things we don't do is we don't communicate. We don't talk to each other. You know what I mean? Like this situation right here, come on, man. I've probably invited 15 fellas onto here since we started. They don't like the sound of this conversation, but when it comes to sitting down, have a conversation and say, hey, man, I don't know how to be faithful to my woman. That's not something that we're encouraged to do. So I think one of the biggest things we got to get away from or agree with the framework on is a man not being vague, but also encouraging men to carry on a conversation that we can have like this away from these cameras.
That's right. That's right. I totally agree. And look, I want to say this to you because of what you just said about being a man. I'm gonna say a boy in the house, 4 boys and 1 woman. So on today, right, on Facebook, and it was funny that you said something about cooking because this and guess what? I'm a great cook as well. I was raised by my mom. You know, my great grandfather was my best friend. I grew up with no dad in the home. I'm a great cook. So today, when I looked at Facebook, guess what was up there? It was a lady up there said, yeah, the men that can cook the best is the biggest hoes. You see what I'm saying? So guess what? And the reason I wanted to say I wanted you to get that because guess what? So now you can't even be a good man and cook because now they looking at you indirectly because of the stuff that
I gotta push back on that one. I gotta push back on that one. These are natural resources we need to know in the first place. If they want to shun these things, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? If they trying to change the narrative of what we are supposed to be, that's somebody you knock off your list that you want to know in your aura, in your circle. Get the fuck out of my face.
Like the way my mom change nothing. When my mom raised me, my mom said, yo, I'm going to teach you how to do everything. So when you get out here, you ain't going to need a woman for nothing but one thing. And on everything I love, I can cook, I can sew, I can iron, I can clean, I can do the whole house by myself. And I'm not saying that to belittle any woman, but the thing is, like, I believe that's part of being the whole man. And I was raised in a house where I never had to wash dishes or any of that stuff, but I was taught how to do it. You understand? So when it's time for it to be done, I can do, like, it's like this. In order to be a man, you got to be well-rounded, baby. Guess what? And what do I mean by that? Even being a man sometimes takes on some of the roles of a woman. I got a best friend, right? One of my cousins. He raising his daughter. So being a man don't just consist of, you know, if it be the case where you have a kid, the baby mama ain't right, whatever, you got to step up and take on the role of the mama. You can't be that woman, but guess what? You got to step in and stand in the gap. And I'm not.
That's not really taking the role of a woman. That's only your responsibilities.
Huh?
Right. That's really, yeah, I agree.
The role of a woman.
Yeah.
That's just handling what you need to handle as your father, as a man. Your responsibilities.
It's not necessarily.
I gotta do it here. That doesn't mean to take the role of a woman.
But guess what? It's you being well-rounded as a man.
As a man, yeah. We should. A man should know. Hold on. A man should want to know and should try to know everything there is that needs to be done for his survival and anyone else that he takes under his cover.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We should be able to be anyone around us, other men, women, whatever, should be able to be the face of the person to go to when it's time to get something done or you need some knowledge or something, anything. And that's what we should try to be at.
With that being said, right? 7. Same thing. Like, hold one second, E. Same thing. Like when 7, when you was like, well, I'm not gonna change the oil. I'm not gonna do this, right? I'm not gonna do that, right? Like, for instance, say, for instance, your car break down. You on the side of the highway. You a man. You got 3 women in the car with you. You the only man in the car. You don't know how to change the tire.
I know how to change the tire.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that you don't. But what I'm saying is, like, you can even have. I got roadside assistance, baby. Guess what?
I ain't using it though.
Sometimes it take them 5 hours to get there.
Yeah, I ain't using that.
It's ugly.
Hey, why you lying?
But as a man, is being resourceful. If he knows how to do it or not,
sir.
he should know how to get it done.
Yeah.
Whenever he feels like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's true. I'm in total agreement. And that wasn't nothing to belittle him or any other man that does not know how to change a tire. But I believe those are some of the things as being men we need to get back into as a whole. As a generation. Because we're losing. Yes. We're losing so many generations now. You got kids, like we was doing it at my church. We was bringing them out there on Saturdays, man. The mamas was getting mad because they can't turn a lug nut. They getting offended with the men in the church that are trying to teach the children that or the kids that because they feel like you putting too much pressure on their child.
Oh.
How can you teach a man, a boy to become a man when you can't even get loud or emotional? You can't give them that testosterone they need to get the drive they need to be who we were called to be.
I'm gonna say something's gonna get me in trouble for some listeners.
I know. I shouldn't have said some of the stuff.
No, you said it.
Trouble. I love trouble.
But the thing is, a woman can't teach a boy how to be a man
at all.
And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Can we go back to what's your brother's name here? Mr. Church in the Streets?
Church.
Yeah, Streets, yeah.
No, I'm good. You were saying that the females in the church didn't want the brothers in the church to teach the kids how to change tire?
Yeah, like some mothers get offended when you be like, hey, nah, you do it like this or you got to do it like that. You know, you can't grab it like you're weak. You got to go ahead and kind of manhandling and move. You know, mothers get offended about that kind of stuff.
Well, why
man,
is that?
Look, it's certain things you can't even say to certain children They'll be like, that ain't your daddy. You understand what I'm saying? They don't talk to you like that. You got to be very careful.
That's because of the way society
when you dealing with a man's
when we came up, that didn't exist.
Guess what though? You from a different era. You're from a different generation. Now you can't just. But listen,
Kurt. But again, it goes back to what's in your circle and what's your responsibility. Because every last one of us, if we write on a piece of paper, we'll probably write some similar things, but we'll write the things that we learned as we grew up, what helped us become and define who we are today. And I think until some people go into that direction and start facing different responsibility as they get older, when they turn 18 or 21, they take on these responsibilities. When they have a child, they take on these responsibilities. When they become married, you have these responsibilities. And sometimes you don't know what it's like until you get put in that position. But when you surround yourself with good people, good men, both negative and positive, and you find out what to do and what not to do, I think that helps define who you are. Because you may be great, like you said, oil change. He may be great at computers. And it's all about your surroundings and how you became, you grew up. And yesterday, I just changed a tire. I just changed the tire, my own tire. I'm like, what in the world happened? But I just walked out of the gym, and somebody said, oh man, you got a flat tire. I said, oh well, I guess here's another workout. So I changed my tire, whatever case may be. But again, I think it's now I like doing things like that. That turns me on.
Hey, what we got honestly right here is something serious, because all of y'all men got something that I need. When it comes to, I want to be the guy like 7. I don't, because I'm too hands-on. Like, I'm a boss and I'm still working every day. You understand? So guess what? And I have the potential, and I'm in the position where I need to be laying back like 7 is talking about. I need to learn how to be a boss instead of having to put my hands on everything that I got going on. I'm overwhelming myself with responsibility. So what happens is, I'm a man. This is what a man looks like. But at the same time, you have to be careful about that, because you will find yourself in a position of anger, bitterness, and frustration. And the thing is, you can have a great life. But if you're not groomed and conditioned right, it's like a wreck waiting to happen.
Yeah. Let me ask a question. Have you ever been in a situation where someone told you, whatever part of your life, that you ain't a man? And how did you feel when they told you that you are not a man? How do you respond?
I was told that at a very young age by a guy, and the funny thing is, he's a great preacher. Like, he helped me get my life together. He actually got shot when I was maybe like 21 years old. So you're talking about roughly 26 years ago. This guy, I remember, and this was before he got shot, that he said this to me. He was like, yeah, all y'all little niggas think y'all grown, y'all think y'all real men, this and that. You don't really become a man until you ready to pay bills, or you ready to accept responsibility. And the thing was, we had these crack houses, and we had women, and we had money. But it was like, when the police get hot, or the man get to riding real bad, and it look like they're getting ready to run in your spot, guess what? Now you no longer have a home, because you coming up out of there. So now you got to relocate. And this particular guy, he owned a liquor house, a juke joint. But he had been a responsible man all his life, had a job, retired or whatever. And he was sitting back looking at the young bucks, and he was selling his little drinks and stuff. And he was basically sizing us up. And when he was telling us we weren't men, I took it to heart, because I was one of the few that really understood what he was saying at that time.
Can I ask you, sir?
Okay.
What part of the country? What part of the country you from?
Who is that? Me?
Yeah.
Where I'm originally from, or where I live at now?
I mean, where you grew up at in all this time you're talking about, like when you was a young boy.
Okay, when I was a young boy selling drugs, I was in a place called Kinston, but I'm originally from Jersey.
Up from Jersey? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jersey's rough. Definitely.
I don't know.
I'm from Connecticut, by the way. So, but I'm from Connecticut originally. But I grew up in Chicago and Philadelphia, and during the summers, we never. My dad never kept us in Connecticut in the summer because he knew how undiverse it was here in Connecticut. So we went to Chicago and mainly Philadelphia in the summer. So I understand. I know what's out there. Some people don't, but I know.
Yeah, it's out there. Trust me.
I think being a man basically is knowing you and learning to adapt to anything around you. You have to be the head of whatever. That's what, in order to be a man, you have to be ahead of everything. You know what I mean? Any other men around you, you have to compete. You have to compete with yourself, other people in a positive way. You know what I mean? But I think to be a man, because I'm still learning. You know what I mean? I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm a man, but I'm still learning how to be the man that I need to be. You know what I mean? So it's like what I do to do this is to be around men that have knowledge, men that act like men, even though, some may have qualities of, being like a immature or whatever. There's a way of being a man that you can take things, or the way other people act, or in a certain way, take it and make them yours to be a better man. It's from anybody. You know what I'm saying? So a man that's a man that I see being a man is someone that can observe, someone that could take on the competition, someone who can be weak but knows that they can't be weak. You know what I'm saying? Someone who always who knows they're not perfect, but always strives for perfection, just so they can be on the top of their game all the time. There's much more, but I'm not going to get into the details. I'm gonna let everybody talk.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Savage. But with that military background life, and when you mentioned that a man is being the head, I understand where you're coming from. But we was taught so much to be a good follower as well. That way, you're not the head, but you're a good follower. Like you mentioned just a while ago, you are absorbing all the things that you want to put in your tool bag. And for each one of y'all, I'm pulling from each one of you, and I'm just sitting back. So when the time presents itself for me to now step up and lead, now I have the necessary tools to go out there and take on whatever responsibilities I have. Now, again, to me, being a man is when I wake up, I'm feeling good and knowing what I need to take care of for that day. And when I get ready to lay down at night, when I get ready to take a shower, I can think back and say, you know what? Okay, I got some things accomplished. I did this, I did that. All my responsibility, I'm taking care of my family. I'm taking care of this. I'm paying the bills. I'm doing whatever it takes to make sure my family is taken care of. And that's what, to me, makes me satisfied of being who I am. And foremost, am I God's child? Am I doing the thing that God tells me to do? Am I getting into his word and reading how he wants to define me as a man? And to me, I think, like he said in the beginning, take care of his creation. And that's, to me, is what I love about being a man. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, let me spread that around. Let's start with you, Eric. What do you love about being a man? I think this is something we need to say to ourselves. Yeah, I think this is something we need to talk to, say to ourselves and ask other men. What do you love about being a man?
Oh,
we need to
ask me the question. What I love about being a man is I'm very confident. Nobody can't tell me I'm not a good husband. I'm not a good father. I'm not a good man. I'm not a good friend. I'm not a good, this. Nobody can tell me that because God already told me that.
You're just a good
the world the world is gonna think is gonna think that you are the opposite. And when you know people are trying to bring you down, you know you're doing something good because that's what the world likes. So I know within my own being, I don't have no worries. No worries about nothing. Because if I don't have the tools now, God's gonna put people in my life that is gonna give me the tools to carry on.
Real talk. Real talk.
All right, Seven. What about you, Seven?
Man, I love being a man more than any time in history, bro. I'm just being honest with you, because the narrative is being hijacked. So cold. I'm in Colorado. I got here at Christmas. Hey, it is what it is in Denver. You know, I think I live in a city where they confuse being a man and being a gay man as the same thing.
Oh.
Come on.
And the problem, and this is why I love being a man, because a lot of my female friends like, you can't say that, you can't do that, you can't act like that, you can't move like that. Even some of my male friends are like, yo, bro, it's not gonna go well. You're gonna be asked to leave the venue. But my thing is, as a man, I have to walk like a man. I have to open the door for a woman, whether she wants it or not. And I'm not gonna walk around carrying some woman's purse just because she wants me to carry her purse through the mall. I was raised, don't even go on a woman's purse. I mean, you can have $1 million in your purse. I'm just not gonna look and not gonna go. But I love being a man in these times because I was under attack for a long time. I chose to leave, go to Arizona, take care of my mom until she passed. My brothers wouldn't do it. She needed help. No one else was going to do it. So I did it. I left my kids here. So I paid for that. But after she passed, somebody said, you were your mom's caregiver. You were her husband. And you were the only thing that kept her going as long as she kept going. And they were like, you did the right thing. And then I come here, and I've been here since Christmas. I see more men, and I'm not knocking it, but in skinny jeans, acting feminine, not handling adversity or having conversations with men without being offended immediately, and just acting very girly. So for me, man, I love being a man now because it goes against the narrative more than anything.
Seven, K Booger asked you a question. K Booger asked you a question. She said, what's so wrong with carrying a purse for a woman?
Let me be very clear. Let me be very clear. I'm not walking through a mall for a woman to be on her phone texting or doing whatever she's doing to carry her purse. That's not what my job is.
Hey, I totally.
Again, I'm not saying things against it, but when you're in a mall and you see 3 or 4 young men walking around carrying their girls, not a fanny pack, but carrying their woman's purse, I'm not cool with that. That's not a man's job.
But
that's not a man's.
Can I say something? You got men now having men bags.
I'm okay with, but there's a difference.
You got men bags. And then hold on. Let me go another place. Like, I'm in agreement with you too, Seven, because you got to understand. Like with me and my wife can be in a restaurant. I don't even let her leave her pocketbook sitting in the seat in the restaurant. While I'm in it, take it to the bathroom with you. You should have left it in the car. You understand? I'm talking about, and I hear her in the background hollering now, but it's the truth. You know, like some things you just don't do. I wasn't raised like that. Like I don't want to be holding your pocketbook. I don't even want to hold it.
Hold up. Let me just say this one comment. Again, we talking about what defines you, and I understand where y'all coming from, but I'm gonna tell you, I went in the store, I bought marzipan, always. You know, my mama said hold her purse. You let my mama say hold her purse and not hold it or whatnot.
But Eric, that's your mom. That's your mom. Hey, bro.
Look,
I will go.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, Seven. I don't disagree with you. But me holding a purse doesn't say that I'm less of a man. And me buying
don't say
Kotex
that.
and always and all that from the store, it don't define
That's
me.
what a
because
man's supposed to
when
do
you
for his
know
woman.
who you are.
Right,
But
but that's
hold
what
on,
you
let me
do
keep
for
it
your
real
woman.
with you. And hold on, let's go back to it's a couple of things I want to talk about because like even with
I guess
Seven,
about
I know
that, church.
he always be on this skinny jeans stuff. Like me, I'm a fashionist, so
Okay.
like I might put on some jeans. They ain't gonna be too skinny, but guess what? I wear me a pair of skinny jeans if that I fab. You know what fabbing is, right?
Okay.
So like I do
No, but I'm
different
listening.
styles. I wear various different things. You might see me today, I'm in a tux. You might see me tomorrow, I got on a pair of skinny jeans. You might see me tomorrow, I got on a pair of baggy jeans or a baggy
But
sweat.
church, let me ask you this question.
Let
me ask you this question. Are you emasculated when you're wearing skinny jeans?
What you mean? What you say?
Are you being effeminate when you're wearing skinny jeans?
No, I'm masculine all
So
the time.
let me ask you another question. And the narrative that you see
Right.
on TV, the narrative you see on TV, I mean, masculine or from God's perspective, I'm being vague. From a man to a woman perspective, do you see on television that are men with skinny jeans not being the masculine, feminine, gay, being beta male, being?
It depends on what type. It depends on what you're looking at.
I don't watch TV, but I stopped because every show.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like it depends on what you look at. Because like right now, I like to wear my pants fitting. I don't want my pants sliding or hanging down off of my tail. I've never been that type of guy.
I didn't say fit. I said skinny.
Skinny.
And here's
There's a big difference.
Hold
There's
on,
a big difference.
Let me be very specific, bro. I've seen some videos where they show a whole bunch of brothers dressed up to the nines. They got high waters fitted, but guess what? They men. They men's men. They're God men. They're honorable men. They are masculine men. They are men who will hold their women to the regard.
Mm-hmm. I got
That's what the narrative for black men in America is: gay, feminine, funny, or you have to bow down to gay men or that behavior.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And like
right
now, being totally honest though, I feel like real men are becoming extinct.
You just hit the nail on the head.
We ain't gonna have that happen. But like I said,
you understand what I'm saying? Now you gotta be real careful.
Goddamn skinny jeans.
Real men are becoming extinct. Like,
how you doing, unapologetic manhood?
When you go, when you look at low income housing, like for instance, what I mean by like real men are becoming extinct. When you go into low income housing, 90% of the women in low income housing work while the men stay home and clean up the house and take care of the kids.
Because they couldn't get a job because they're felons. That's how the system
No, it's
is.
not. They can't get a job. Man, do you know what the job?
Wait. Let me take that back. I'm going to take that back. It's not can't
Even
get a job.
in my city,
They're being too lazy to get
so many jobs. Nah, man, it's not that. People are making excuses. It's jobs out here, dog, and they are hiring people.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna push back on you because I done applied
ever since the pandemic. It's work
jobs at my narrative, and I apply jobs above.
It's not that easy anymore.
But again, let's get back to what Eric was saying. And unapologetic, bro. We just asking and going through this conversation. But I love what Eric was saying. What I love about being a man, I think now in these times it goes to what church is saying. Like we live in a time where you can't walk around as a man in certain cities or communities. And if you do and it offends somebody, everybody's looking at you like, even scripture says they will love what was wrong and make it the thing that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
And I think that's
exactly.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, my thing is we have it everywhere. It's going on everywhere. Even getting back from where I'm coming from, I got these kids all emotional. We had like a 7v7 going on for football. I got these kids all emotional about a game, whatever. But it's cool, be that way. But when you start cursing like other men out, you know what I'm saying, cursing a grown man out, a man that's old enough to be your father, that's when you're saying to them, Get your mother, get your father. Let them talk to me. Don't talk to me. You don't. I tell them, you don't understand. You don't talk to me like that, and they don't get it because again, you see parents up there, and I'm acting manly, and you see parents up there like looking at me like why is he saying that? Why is your son?
Remember I said that earlier?
Yeah,
I just told him that earlier.
Yeah. Why is your son cursing? And then they up there looking, and again, believe me, I be feeling like even when I'm around where I expect to be real men, looking at me two-faced it because I'm like, am I in Twilight Zone? I'm going to set ground rules like you should be setting it. This is the problem. And a young man, a young coach came to me because one of the kids cursed him out. He's like 29, 30. And he was like, I know I have to talk to him. I said, don't talk to him yet. Just let him cool down because they was about to get into it. But the young, 29-year-old, he's saying like, I don't give a, I'm going to talk to him. But I say, let him cool down because these young kids, these Generation Z, you can't talk to them like a man if they don't know how to be a man. And that's black, white, Hispanic. I'm talking about all of them, mixed, all of them like that where I'm at. Because even the white men don't know how to be men no more. It's not just a black, it's been a black man thing for a long time, but it's everybody now. And it's tough.
That's because society have different meanings. And because society have different meanings, there's so many confusion on what is a man supposed to be or what is a woman supposed to be. That's the reason why you have to look in the mirror and you have to be able to define who you are. And when you define who you are and who God created you to be, you have all the outsiders can say whatever they want to say. I know what position that God has put me in. And so I know when I walk out this door, every neighbor can say you are this and you are that. But I know through God and through God who made me and breathed breath in my body, I refuse to let anybody steal my joy. But that's what society will do. They'll try to confuse you and try to make you seem as though you're not really a man. They might say you're a man because you comb your daughter's hair. I mean, everybody have different definition, but as long as you're feeling good about what you're doing for your circle, who cares what other people think?
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
You know me.
So would you agree then?
I agree 100% who cares of it, but at the same time, you have to stand your ground. You don't have to be, I don't think being a man.
You won't win against you won't win against the wall.
Oh no, it's whatever situation you're in. It's not going getting chaotic with a person. I think manhood is about making things, settling things, bringing solutions to the table, not letting things get out of hand, and then if you feel like as a man, you feel like it's getting to you, I walk away. I haven't been like this, right, but the last several years I've been like this. So if I'm in a circle of people like I was today, I'm talking to the kid, I'm pulling him aside. Listen, I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm a grown man. I got kids older than you. You need to treat me with respect. This is a part of growing up as a man. And a lot of them don't know the difference, even in school.
Right,
and
they don't know what respect is.
Even working in a school district, it's the same thing. It's like these kids, when they get out of these four walls, they done. Because they talk to, especially the Generation Zs and the young millenniums, they don't talk anymore. Like what happened in New York, where the dude shot the kid in the head. I mean, I think it was in the neck in Brooklyn the other day, and because he's talking junk to his mother, but the co-worker actually followed the dude out instead of just staying and working. He wasn't off the clock. He just followed him out. And this is the society that we living in. It's a bunch of beta males all over the place, simp enforcers all over the place, and women looking at brothers like us, like I'm supposed to be doing what the guy's been in your life for years doing. No, That's why I'm always good at you go east, I go west. I don't have time for that. You got to
How
stand
does
your
a man
ground.
learn? You said, all right, so we're talking about what a man looks like. And you're saying a man should just walk away. How does a man learn that that's the option and the right option to take? Because that's not usually the option that men take.
Go ahead, Seven, because I have the answer. I have
I'm asking you guys. I'm finagling it in there. I'm trying to get y'all headway.
Go ahead, Seven.
So when I work with Metro Denver Gang Coalition 1 and 2, and we're working with a lot of youth, gang violence and things like this, I took a class on de-escalation. And what I learned was the value of de-escalation is it's the reward you get rather than the consequence you get. So me, when I was in the club, there was a time where somebody would step on my shoes, it'd be a problem. Not that I escalated to a fight. But if I was in a club, I stepped on somebody's shoes, and my mind is like, okay, there's 16 of us here. There's 3 of them. Hey, my apology. Let me buy you and your partner a drink. My apology, stepping on your shoes. You know, it's a sticky situation in the club. It's always be the solution. My thing is I've learned watching people do this, the solution is solving the problem rather than creating a bigger problem has always been a win-win for me. It doesn't mean I can always walk away from the situation, but if I can walk away from the situation, I'm happy. I'm solid. I feel like I won the situation. Because having to deal with it the way we've been taught or told how to deal with a situation, I done seen too many people rest in peace. I done seen shootouts inside of the club where we trying to have fun just because people don't know how to solve and deal with adversity or issues. So for me, I love the art of just walking away, because if I can walk away, I'm gonna walk away. But if you put me in a corner, but I'd rather walk away.
Man, Seven,
Right.
man, Seven, you started that just exactly how I was getting ready to start. You know, a true man is one that can go back home to his family. And when I go to the high school and I start substituting, I give the same analogy. I say, let me give it to you this way. You got 2 ways. I can step on your shoes by mistake, and I can say, please forgive me. And then you can be like, yo, punk, what you step on my shoes for? And I say, what you gonna do? And we start fighting. And then next thing you know, pow, 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 somebody's dead. And now you in prison, one is dead. So who get to go home? Nobody. It's not a win-win situation. Or it could have went this way. I stepped on your shoes by mistake. I said, please forgive me. He said, why you step on my shoes for, punk? And then I walk away. He said, you better walk away, punk. But guess what? I'm the best punk walking away who get to go home to his family, who get to go to bed and kiss his son good night, kiss his wife good night, whatever case may be. And then you over there calling me names, but guess what? We both get to go home. So I think it's hard to walk away, but it's the right decision.
Let me say
walk
this.
away.
Now, this day and time, that's not your analogy is not a reality no more, bro.
Yes, it is a reality.
Hey, look,
yes, it is. Why not?
In the real world, listen.
What would Jesus do?
And I understand that, but what I'm telling you is,
it's reality. That's why I'm still living.
In the hood, it ain't going down like that, bro.
So
sometimes you got to remove yourself. You have to remove yourself.
That's it.
It's a good way to say it.
I just don't. I'm not going.
Listen to me. It's a good analogy. It's a good way to say it. But now, understand this. If they can't relate to you, you might not make it out, bro.
Hey, don't
put yourself in the situation. Don't put yourself in the situation.
There you go. If you better off not even being out there.
That's where my question comes. That's where my question comes. When and how do you learn to walk away? Because if you in the hood, you know all these things. You know all these things. If you in the hood and you know all these things, how do you end up in the bar that you know some bullshit's gonna happen?
You don't need to be. You know how to see it. You're supposed to see it for it happen.
But can I ask you a question in church?
Hey, let me tell you something. Every environment I go in, I check the atmosphere, dog.
Me too.
I'm already checking the atmosphere in the environment, no matter where I go.
Yep.
It don't matter.
But church, can I ask you this question?
I could be in the church if the environment ain't right. I'm coming out in there. If the spirit ain't right, I'm coming out in there, bro.
Hey,
Yeah.
make sure
I'm
you leave
telling
your
you.
offering. Make sure you leave your offering before
Hey,
you leave.
guess what?
Yeah,
Hey,
offering
guess
card.
what? And I'm gonna
Wow.
tell you this. And I'm gonna tell you this. Even when it comes to that, you got to know where you sowing.
There you
But
gotta
go.
know
church,
where you
but wouldn't you
going.
say, but those situations where you have enough street smarts to know when somebody's being leaky, or when somebody's trying to get, you know what I mean, trying to make an example or do a
I've been in
situation.
the streets all my life. I still go on the streets every day, dog.
So but what I'm saying is, church, I'm from the streets, but at the same time, I had to look at Proverbs. You know what I mean? You look at that. You look at the book of James. When I look at the book of James, it told me how to exist outside of the hood. Because here's the thing. We're afraid, and there's a lot of people that I left behind that I still social. We're afraid to leave the hood. There's nothing wrong with the hood. Let
Oh
me
no,
finish
and
it.
I'm not saying that I have to be in the hood.
But
I
what
Right.
I'm
don't have.
saying is,
Hey, look,
but
Right.
my responsibility don't allow
Hold on,
me
hold on.
now. It doesn't allow me to do it on that level because of the level of responsibility that I have now.
but here's the thing, though. We have to learn to encourage people to leave the hood. And
There you
and here's
go.
the deal, because this, bruh, I told you earlier. I was looking at a dime in prison. I caught 2 felonies within 6 months in 2 different counties where they put all black men in prison. But I had 2 white dudes that stood up and be like, "Yo, I'm gonna pay for this and be your lawyer if it has to be." I'm not saying that happens to us. I'm
Okay,
not saying that, but church,
can I
I'm
give
not
you
saying that happens to us. I'm not
can
saying
I
that
give you
happens to
my
us.
scenario?
But let me finish. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that happens to us. But when I finally stopped hanging out in the hood and started hanging out on the campus for school, I saw something different and bigger. And what I'm saying is, some of the times we got to encourage young brothers who we see potential in the hood to
Yeah.
get out the hood. But second, I'm not going to go in any club. I'm not gonna go any situations, excuse my language, where I gotta deal with a bunch of dumbass niggas. Because at the end of the day, I got to come home at the end of the day. And I'd rather
There you
have to
go.
walk away than have to punch you in the throat, have to deal with 2 of your friends, and then deal with you when we get outside the club or the venue, the restaurant, the store, the mall. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I'm not saying that I'm too good. No, I'm better than that. I value my life. I value what I created, and I value the message and the image that I bring around for the people to follow.
I totally agree with that, right? I totally agree with everything you said, right? But okay, you take me. If that's where you came from, right? Check it out. And God called you to help these same people in the environment that you came from. Can you help them from afar?
Yes,
A
you
lot
can.
a lot of them don't even really want to receive and accept you because they feel like you left them.
I agree with what you're
Okay,
saying.
hold on. Let me
But
finish. All
okay.
right, let me give you an example. Like right now, and I'm at risk every day because of the decision I chose to make. But at the same time, I'm happy with the decision I chose to make because I know I'm giving more people hope. Like right now, when I bought the house I live in, I bought my house in the hood. Am I at risk? Could I possibly get killed? Yeah. Guess what though? Why did I buy the house in the hood? I was eligible to get a $250,000 house
Because you want to be
over
a
here
risk.
on Cary Road with the white people and the black people that felt like they made it.
You
Yeah,
want
Guess
to
but
what?
you can be
you
out
want to
there and a
keep the
white
risk.
man go shoot everybody in the
Guess what?
neighborhood and you still
They got,
gone.
and I totally
Yeah.
understand that. But guess what? They got a 40-year mortgage. My house paid for. Understand this. Not only that, God blessed me to buy a rundown house, fully remodel it in the hood so the people that think it ain't possible can see it done. Watch me live like a king, offer jobs to the people in the hood, help the hood.
But
You understand what I'm saying?
hold on.
Like
Hold on,
sometimes
sir.
the people that have the potential leave the hood and they leave the people in the hood without hope. They
But
need
I
the
understand where you're
example
coming from,
here.
sir. There's a couple of different ways you look at that, church. You got to have the discernment to be able to stay there, because I'm gonna give it to you like this. Jesus didn't stay in the same place for people that didn't want to receive him. He dropped the nugget and he went on about his business. Now it's up to them if they want to grab what you tried to instill in them, but he didn't stay there until they got it right.
But
He
guess what?
dropped the message.
Just because, let me tell you,
He dropped the message and he kept right on going.
Just because I stay here don't mean I'm here.
I'm saying you got to have the discernment. If you ain't got the right discernment,
you gotta
God
explain
give
that.
you, if you ain't got what God give you,
What's going on out of apologetic? Because he left.
if you ain't
What's
got
going
the
on?
I want him to explain what he just said.
I need him to explain that shit. You said just because
Yeah.
you're here don't mean you there.
Okay. Let me help you understand exactly what I'm saying.
Please
I'm
do.
here, I work here, I do ministry here. When every weekend, me and my wife, we out of town. We shopping, we going doing ministry in other places, we spending time with people. Guess what? When I'm in my neighborhood and I'm in my city, it's all business. Even when I interact with the love, but as well it's business because I'm God's man. You understand? So guess what? I'm here, but I'm not here. See, people are only accessible when you allow people access to you. Like right now,
your
I'm
house
here,
is access to you.
guess what? You can't show up to my door.
But your house is access to you.
In the last 5 years, right? And I'll just use the last 5 years, for example. In the last 5 years, 5 people ain't been to my door. And I live in the hood. People don't just come knock on my door because this is my safe place. This is my home. This is where I go to get away from the world. Now, when I'm out there, we can do ministry. I love on you. I spend time with you. But guess what? You ain't got no business showing. My mama ain't never let me be bringing no jokers home with me.
Hold on, Church.
So are you still at the same amount of risk? Are you still at the same amount of risk being in the risk?
Bro?
Huh?
The world is not the same. You just can't invite everybody to your house no more.
No. I'm saying, are you still at the same amount of risk living in the hood, even though you're there or not there?
Guess what? You at risk. You at risk no matter where you at in the world.
Are you at the same amount of risk as you moving out the hood instead of staying in the hood? You know what the hood. You know what the hood brings.
It don't matter where you at, bro. It don't matter.
All right, let me ask you a question.
You can't walk in fear.
Let me ask you a question. Walking down a regular street, would you, if you had two choices, walking down a street that had no violence on it, or a street that has violence on it, which one are you gonna walk down?
Listen to me, man.
No, that's a simple question.
Listen to this. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be done with it. It ain't nowhere in the world I can't go and walk. I can go in any city, any neighborhood in the world right now.
So you say
it don't matter.
Okay.
I can't, and I won't.
You can walk, but you don't know the outcome.
I don't care. I'm not doing
to Cincinnati. There's certain neighborhoods I'm not walking.
Me assuming I can walk anywhere.
And
it has nothing to do with safety of my kids.
With me, I'm gonna tell you. With me, I just feel like this, bro. I'm gonna enjoy my life. That's what I do. I live like I'm a people person. I don't meet strangers. I ain't ducking and dodging. I just pulled up in one of the worst cities in North Carolina just last week. When I got out of the car, it was 10 niggas out there with guns in the parking lot. And my wife said, we getting gas here. I don't know why come we ain't. It's cheap. And they were looking and I was looking. Guess what? And I went and got my gas. And guess what? And the crazy thing about it is, guess what? They was really looking, trying to figure out now, who is this nigga?
Like they always do.
You want that attention on you.
No, it wasn't even about the attention. And it wasn't even about me putting on a show. We just happened to pull up to a gas station. And guess what? I won't go wait till I get on the highway and start riding and got to try to find another gas station. And it was a gas station right in the neighborhood we got ready to leave from. I didn't know it was a bad neighborhood till when I get in there. What, now I pull up and see these jokers. I ain't going to get out and get my gas. We might get robbed and get the car took trying to leave.
Yeah.
I might as well get
let's
out.
back it up a little. Church, let's back it up a little bit, Church, because I'm a
What
little
do real
bit
men look
disappointed.
like? What do real men look like?
Wait, hold up.
Wait,
That's
bitch.
not what they look like. Let's cut that right there.
I ain't that man.
Just because you're able to walk in there in the gas station with guns, you got guns, and you think, hey, I'm safe. No, nigga, that doesn't mean you a real.
What you mean? You think I got out and
That
said,
don't mean real
I got out and
That's
looked
real
like
crazy.
they be looking.
That's
the
discernment and
problem.
wisdom
There's
lacking
too many
of
of these punks that keep looking and acting like they killers. That's the problem.
You know what? You
Well,
know what? You know what is a killer and not a killer at the same time? A scared kid that's influenced by older people.
real talk.
Yeah.
Hey,
Silence.
Church, I got
Like what?
Huh?
Huh?
I got Church, I got a chick. I'm sorry.
A
What
kid
you say?
that is not violent but scared with a gun, influenced by older gentlemen. How you know? Like, how do you know what's gonna
I
happen?
understand.
Hey,
9
man,
times out of 10, it's gonna go bad.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't know.
Hold on,
But
Church,
going
hold on.
around that little kid,
Hold on, Church,
going around that
hold on,
environment
question.
is being a man.
Yeah. Church, I
I
got
don't
a
know,
question
maybe-
for you.
What has the
Maybe
hood
it's
done
where
for
I'm
you?
at. Maybe it's where I'm at. Because I'm going to
Maybe.
tell you something. This little town in this neighborhood, people don't just get shot in the hood out here where I live at. People get shot in the
Anywhere.
good neighborhoods, everywhere around
Everywhere,
here.
it don't matter.
Everywhere around
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Where
yeah.
I'm at right now, you could be in the best neighborhood and your whole neighborhood get shot up and it be 2 dead little boys in the best neighborhood over here.
Why do people put locks on their door?
There's many parables in the Bible where God gave demonstration on
If I don't
what
lock
Jesus
my
had
door, you better not be in here when I get in here because we gonna die together.
You look like you got a lot of food in there, so I'm covered.
Church, it says live in peace. It says this all is with you. Live in peace with all men. As
Yes.
you can. It says live in peace.
I'm trying.
It didn't say live in Chirac on purpose, bro. I'm
gonna say
Yeah.
this, like honestly. No, I come to give people hope.
Hold
I
on,
come
Church.
to
You been
motivate
talking the
them.
whole time. Let me get my question out. Hold on, Church. Hold on. Hold on now. Give somebody else a chance. I've been trying to ask you a question for the past 10 minutes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My question is you from Kinston, North Carolina, the same place I'm from. You said somebody ain't never ain't been in your place in about 5 years. I just want to know, you ain't got one of them 10-foot welcome signs on your front porch?
No, I don't. I don't.
It says welcome.
I don't.
What's up with that, man?
You welcome, but you
You
ain't
supposed to have
welcome.
the
I want to know why you showing up to my door. You better, if we got that type of relationship, you feel like you come to my house. Why you ain't called my phone before you got here?
Because everybody in Kinston, everybody in North Carolina got a welcome sign on their front porch.
I don't.
Right. Some type of
I
welcome.
just took you out there. I just walked out there the other night and showed y'all my front of my house.
We didn't
It
see the
ain't-
welcome
You
sign,
know,
though.
ain't no welcome.
Yeah, we didn't see the welcome sign.
Yeah.
You ain't supposed to see it.
So
Everything is hidden on the inside. You got to show what's on the outside so we can come on the inside.
Listen, I welcome you in my heart every day. I welcome you when you see me. I involve myself with you. I interact with you. I just don't need you just showing up to my door.
Oh man, so you're a sometime. You'll play with me. So you're
It ain't
just gonna tease me, huh?
sometimes. It ain't sometimes.
So you just
I gotta
teasing me.
protect
You
what I
just
love.
teasing me. So you just teasing me, huh? You play with my emotions. You play with my
I
emotions.
tell you, where you say, what's your address? I'm finna show up to your door.
yeah.
He gonna say, what that nigga
311
doing out there? Baby, I don't know why he came.
You still at my door, you better be prepared to drink and party.
You ain't got a gate. You better be able to jump the fence because you ain't got the code to come here.
Oh, now he said he
Gated
live in a little
community.
gated community, huh?
But I think this, but I think churches analogy about life, it's really like my brothers. They hood, period. No questions asked, never walked away from it. But I think that they're learning. My oldest brother, he's like, I didn't like white people at all. Now he worked with them. He loves them. They protect them. They look out for him. They encourage him. He's like, bruh, I was wrong about white people. He's like, I was wrong, you know? So he had to go through this growth and this learning about in spite of what he was told in the streets or what the norm was. So I think the beautiful thing is, especially what church is saying is, you're safe in the hood, but I think the thing is, the goal is to look beyond the hood. And I think the thing is, we have to always encourage men, period, regardless of ethnicity, to look beyond the hood, to look beyond.
Oh, no. Hey, let me tell you something. My mind and my life is far beyond the hood. Understand this. I got a lot of white friends too. I work out with white people. I'm in a workout group called F3. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I interact with a lot of, I got white business friends that are partners, good friends of mine.
But do that mean beyond the hood?
Understand this. And guess what? And could live in one of those neighborhoods if I chose to. But I just don't feel like that's what God is calling me to. As men, guess what? You have your own mission. You have your own goal. You have your own life and the things that you want to obtain, you want to achieve, and how you want to live, right? Guess what? Sometimes the way we look and we go get these houses in these gated communities, right? What we don't tell sometimes is the responsibility we create for ourselves, the lifestyle that we live. I even got a sister right now that lives like that. And guess what? She has a great life. She has a productive life. But how many other young women that can't afford to live that life that are chasing that life? You understand what I'm saying? Like,
so church, but this is what I was told. Because I was given the life that none of my partners got. Just be honest with, and most of my dudes from the hood, they all dead, shot each other's mom. Like, it was just a crazy situation, or in prison for the rest of their life. But I'm gonna say this to say that. But now, if I see somebody with potential, or they at least looking or curious about getting out of a situation and growing, I'll stop and help. You see what I'm saying? I will give them some nuggets or the tools. Right. But at the end of the day, unanimously, and I'm not trying to make a funny of the situation, but there's no way in hell I'm going to a gas station, I see 10 young men and I know they got guns, then I'm gonna pull over, pull out, get out my car, even if I'm in the car with somebody that's fully loaded. It's just certain situations.
Hey, guess what?
But guess what I'm saying, but let me
the
finish.
Bible said, don't be stupid.
But let me give you an example.
But hold on, let him finish. Let me
finish. Church, what I'm saying is, you're built for that. you built for that. My brother, he spent 20 years, said he would never get out of prison. He was the worst person. He's not gonna go and see 10 people sitting and wait. And I'm just saying, and what you just said, and I'm going back to what you said. There's a temperament. You got that temperament, bro. You got that temperament.
There's a teachable moment in all of this, bro. Like,
yeah, I'm not pulling over.
Like, being totally honest with you, you're right. I might do have that temperament, and I might know how to look, and I might know how to say, yo, what up? What's going on? You know, like, at the end of the day, guess what? I have been in situations like that, and people get saved, bro, with that gun in their pocket, with that gun in their hand, give their life to God. But guess what? Some people aren't called to that.
And that's the reason why I say you got to have the right.
You got to know who you are.
Right. You got to have the discernment. You got to have the discernment, the judgment to be able to do that. Everybody can't do that. You got to have the
and at the end of the day, that's my thing. Like with me, you think I'm lying. Me and my wife, we be in California anywhere. A joker can be in there buying blunts, got a pocket full of weed, and I might look at him and say, God got something better
Hold up.
than that, baby. I remember I used to smoke 100 blunts a day. And they be looking at me and I be like, yeah, that's right. God got something better for you than that, baby. My wife be looking at me like, nigga, you crazy. And guess what? Tears will start running down the nigga face or the girl face and be like, I needed to hear that.
That's because you can
understand
relate.
what I'm saying?
Everybody can't be in that same situation. You can relate.
And I totally understand that.
That's what Stephen is saying. That you can go there, but he can't because he can't. I may not be able to relate the same way that you relate. So you got to know.
I can relate. I don't want to relate. There's a difference. God gave me some discernment that says, you know what? Your goal is to get out.
Well, I can't relate because I ain't never smoked and I ain't never drank. Well, I can't relate. I never drank, never smoked, so I can't relate.
Sometimes it's about smoking and drinking, man.
I can relate to not pulling over.
What he's saying is,
I'm not pulling over with motherfucking strap in the car. I'm not doing it.
You should be able to pull over how your mouth be.
Bruh.
You
I can
now
do it.
He done got a shot.
If I had no kids, oh well. But my kids, you know what? I'm just smart. When I pull up, I'm thinking this.
Like,
I'm the smartest man in the room.
Out of here.
When I pull up, I'm the smartest man in the room. I have the ability to be the smartest man in the room. Either I'm gonna get out and risk them stupid motherfuckers that's out at the gas station anyway, strapped, or should I be like, you know what? I'm not even gonna risk they're stupid or whatever they want to come up with. Whatever happens, if they look at me wrong or something happens, I'm not gonna risk it and I'm gonna go somewhere else.
But
I'm gonna limit my risk in life. That's what a man should do. What?
It's risk in it either way. If you pulled in the gas station,
right.
They don't know you, don't know who you is. You looking at the pumps, you trying to figure out this or whatever, you at risk anyway. They might shoot the car courtesy to beefing with somebody.
That's
what I'm trying to figure out.
Where you at, man? Where are you at when you pull up and they want to shoot your car just because you can't find the gas right?
I'm talking about at this particular gas station that I was at. It can happen.
You decided to pull up at that gas station. That is the war zone.
Hey, Savage, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to push that button to see how far can I go on this tank of gas. If it say 3 mile range, you know what? I'm going to find a one that's 3.5 miles, and I'm going to go slow when I hit that gas pedal so I can save a little energy to get to that gas.
When I turn around, I'm going to stare at them motherfuckers. I'm gonna look at them like this.
So last week,
can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Real quick.
I know we're getting close, right? So now, I want to say this. I was at, and now I was gonna ask a question, but I rather do it like this.
Go ahead.
So what do? You're doing ministry and you go to feed people and pray with people and somebody gets shot while you coming up.
You have no control of that.
Anywhere, anytime.
You have no control of that.
So you don't have control
of it. We're not saying that doesn't happen.
So last week I said, church, if I came to your city, what would I do? I said I would follow and hang out with who? You in what? Your city, because it's your city. Because you have enough common sense to know there's certain parts you don't take a stranger to. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you were going to go feed some people, I've done it. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I was feeding people. You feel what I'm saying? No cameras, no nothing. But I was feeding some people in some questionable areas, and I had young ladies with me. It doesn't mean that I didn't have something on me in case something went wrong. But I didn't go with the intention of that. I went there to love on some people, to help them and leave. So I think the difference is when I was working years ago, I always went to the drug houses, the drug communities, went to the alleys and picked up these young people when I did my job. When there was a shooting, they sent us to the places where the shootings was. But at some point, after 20 years involved in those worlds and those communities, I've just resolved to say, I'll leave that to somebody who wants to do it. I'll deal with people ready to listen and make decisions and moves from that. I'm not saying things wrong with what you're doing. It's honorable,
Right,
because some
right.
people gotta be foot soldiers. But if God told me, yo, homie, just stay in your lane, I'm not gonna go jump out of a new lane and get into there, because it took me a long time to get this acumen and this vocabulary. And don't get me wrong, if it's a situation where I know it's gonna be violent, I'm gonna punch you in your throat first and try to solve the situation and get away. You get what I'm saying? It's quickest.
Mhm.
But I do my best to never be in a situation where I can't be a gentleman and a man and respect the situation and the outcome.
I
Right.
got you. I
That's
totally
good. That's
agree.
good.
And I'm gonna be careful when I go
Good.
if I go out hang out with you too, church, because I
I
ain't
was
trying
just
to
thinking
put
about that. I
my
said, I'm like, you're not driving. I'm driving. You're not driving. And I'm gonna fill up the tank before I get there. Ain't no
Yep.
gas stopping with your ass,
Ain't
church.
going to no hood gasoline station.
Nah,
Yeah.
actually, man, like now I'm a working class guy, man. I can't even act up no more. I can't do it.
Hey,
hear you.
it's been good, fellas.
Fellas, it's on that hour right now. It's on that minute. So we're gonna wrap it up. Final thoughts, anyone? Final thoughts, anything to say about the meeting discussion today? What a man's supposed to do, anything?
Yeah.
Any advice you want to give the men who are watching?
Know your purpose, know who you are, be confident in who you are, and carry out whatever responsibility that you have in this life. If you create children, create time for them. If you have a home and you have a family, provide for them. So know who you are and be confident in that.
7.
Hey, to add on to that, just look at the biblical perspective of what a man is. I mean, even David ran, you know what I mean? But just look at the mistakes and just look at how they live. You know what I mean? Use the wisdom. You know, like we said last week. You know, Delilah tried to get, you know what I mean? She was about tricks to take Samson down. So I think just to learn how to be a man, you have to study. Study, show thyself approved, rightly dividing the word for truth. I think you just learn to study men, and also study the men you don't want to be like. I think that's a beautiful thing we have to
Right.
look
There
at.
you go.
That's
Study
right.
what you don't want, how you don't want to move, how you don't want to end up in those situations. And I think that
Right.
continue to be around other men.
Right.
Yeah.
Manhood.
Yeah. So yeah, just on feedback what you said, 7. Same thing, man. You study from all bases of of manhood, and that's understanding that you don't have to say you're a man. You do it by what you do it. You shouldn't have to say I'm a grown ass man or what have you.
How you present yourself, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's how you present yourself, what you going to, I keep on saying these words, stand your ground on, and what you're going to, what you're going to have in your life and what you're not going to have in your life. Those really good examples of being a man, being stable, being understanding, but at the same time knowing that you cannot be in that situation, things of that nature. And even such as myself, I grew up with a bunch of women in my household. So as I became probably in my early 30s, I started to realize this is not what I was supposed to be. So this how you guys said, you learning from both sides, how not what the man not to be like and what the man who to be like. So yeah, for all of that, you're gonna get to learn, and you keep on learning. And again, I learn every day on what I should be as a man. So yeah, absolutely.
Church, bring it to church.
Hey, one thing about it, Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man will leave an inheritance for his children, but the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. Why did I say that? A good man will work to provide for his family, regardless if it has to be getting down and dirty as far as being a mechanic or whatever, or you can be a computer tech or whatever's necessary to provide for your family. You do it, but you have to do it with God in mind, meaning you're not gonna do anything wicked because the money will fall from your hands. As well, man, you know, it's just really, it's a process to learning how to be a man.
Yeah.
You know, every day that God allows us to live is another day that he gives us the ability to learn how to be better than we were the day before. So it's constant, man. It's ongoing. You know, and one thing about it, we are all helpers one to another. So if I'm a little weak in faith, maybe Seven got it. If I'm a little weak in strength, maybe Savage got it. If I'm a little weak in knowledge, maybe Eric got it. If I'm a little weak in manhood, this unapologetic manhood got it. You know what I'm saying? But we all come together to build, motivate, and encourage each other. That's what manhood is really about. If we got it, some of us are making mistakes, and that's why I was kind of all over the place, because I wanted y'all to see that a part of manhood is, even if I'm slipping, it's y'all job to fight to get me back in the right headspace. You understand? I know what I'm doing, and I know what God called me to do, but I also need y'all to be reminding me and making me mindful, as well as me reminding you guys and making y'all mindful. So it's constant. We're all helpers one to another, bro. That's what manhood is all about.
Sir.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir.
That is wonderful word. Wonderful words from great men. I can't really say too much after what Church said. Besides, you know, we all need men. We all need to help each other out, no matter what. Staying on 10. Never think that you know everything, but be confident in what you know, and always try to learn more and more each day from anything, everyone. That's what men do. We adapt. We observe. We get the knowledge. We use it to make a better home and community for our people. And that's where the community starts right here. That's the word. That's the word for the Crown Talk, right? Community starts here. We're going to set that off. Get some t-shirts, headbands, I don't know. But yeah, fellas, I appreciate y'all every time, man. It's always a great conversation. Always uplifting and knowledgeable. Let's do it every week. I know y'all can. Let's build this community, man. Jared?
Yes,
All right,
indeed.
fellas.
Church, I'm gonna give you that welcome sign, brother. I'm gonna get you that welcome sign.
We're gonna come down. We're gonna come down, give you that welcome sign. And like you said, we always have to have each other's back. So I'm gonna try to keep you away from that damn gas station.
Hey, yo, to be honest, I don't even really
back up.
The crazy thing is, I don't even really know where I was. I just know I was in prison down there. So I already know how they act down there.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, I hadn't been down there in about maybe 17, 18 years. So you know it was crazy.
You crazy.
A new generation.
It's all good, though, man. Much love to everyone, man. Next week, same time, 8 o'clock, fellas. It's the crowd talk. We are out of here.
All right, I enjoyed y'all, man.
Yeah, fellas.
Yes,
sure.
Yes, indeed.
One.
Peace.
About that BSOB season 2. Shit, I'm on my way right now. Spain. That's that show right there. Y'all better tune in. Make sure y'all subscribe. And hit that motherfucking like button. I'm tired of y'all sitting there watching the show and not hitting that like button. Alright, I'm almost there. I'll see you at the show, baby. BSOB season 2. Ah! Sponsoring ourselves. Come on, Savage Cobb, entertainment, baby. We savage in this